specialized connective tissue, we have already seen about cartilage. So now we are going to see about bones and blood. So generally in cartilage, the ground substance was solid and it was pliable, it was flexible. But here the ground substance is solid, it is hard, and it is non-pliable, it is non-flexible. Generally bones are non-flexible, that we know, and this is the ground substance. So this material is rich in calcium salts, okay, Ca calcium salts and collagen fibers. So because of these two the bones are
strength.
Yes, to give strength to the bones. And these bones generally provide structural frame to the body.
Frame,
yes,
general frame.
Structural frame. If bones, with the bones, the frame is lined to our body. And these bones support and protect softer tissues and organs. It protects the inside tissues and organs in our body and supports. Then the cells in bones are known as osteocytes.
Okay.
And these are present in some spaces called lacunae. Okay, so if this is osteocyte, bone cell, and it is present inside this lacunae, this space. Okay. So this is generally the structure of bone. And this is about bones. So blood, and in bones, the bone marrow inside the bones there is present a bone marrow called there is present inside the bones, bone marrow will be present, and it produces red blood cells. Yes, red blood cells and WBC, RBC, it produces blood. So here this is about bones. So now we are coming to blood. So blood is a fluid connective tissue and it is composed of plasma, RBC, WBC, platelets and everything. It comes under plasma. Okay, so this is about blood. So with this, the connective tissue, the specialized connective tissue is over, and connective tissue is also over. We have seen everything: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. So next we are going to see about muscle tissue. Muscle tissue. Okay. So after connective tissue, now we are going to see about muscle tissue. Okay. So generally these muscles which are present in our body, each muscle have a number of fibers. Each fiber, number of fibers parallelly arranged. Okay. And each fiber have number of myofibrils. Okay. So here this is muscle, fiber and myofibrils. Okay. And these muscle fibers, these fibers contract on stimulation. If any stimulation, they'll contract, and after some time they'll expand.
Like this,
yes, contract and they
like this, it
expand.
Okay.
And it relaxes. So this muscles, it helps the body to move. Okay, it helps for the movement of the body. And there are three kinds of muscles: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle.
Okay.
So here we are going to see first about skeletal muscles. So skeletal muscles are attached to skeletal bones. Okay, closely these are closely attached to bones, and these are striated and voluntary. Do you know what is striated and voluntary?
What is it?
So striated is they have some striations, like in structure we will be seeing in the next session. They will be having like some striations like this. Okay, so these are the striations. They will be having structures like this, and these are voluntary. Voluntary means if we think we have to move this hand, we can move.
If you think we can move.
Yes. If you want to move, it is regulated by us.
If you have that energy, then only you can move.
It is regulated by us. Okay. So we can generally move. Can you understand? It is directly controlled by us.
Okay.
These muscles are directly controlled by us. Example: biceps and triceps.
So what is triceps?
So triceps are present here, biceps are present here. Okay, muscle which is here is biceps and here are triceps. Okay. So this is about skeletal muscle system. Here it is striated and voluntary. Okay. Smooth muscle system. So now we are going to see smooth muscle tissue. So here in smooth muscles, the cell junctions hold these together. All the smooth muscles together are holded by cell junctions, which we have studied earlier, that tight, othering and gap junctions. So through these junctions, the smooth muscles are holded together. Okay. And the smooth muscles are unstriated and involuntary. They will not be having striations like this, and these are involuntary. We cannot control these muscles. For example, walls of blood vessels. So the muscles which are present in the blood vessels and
sphincter.
Yes,
Sphincter.
that one.
Okay.
Sphincter and stomach,
Okay.
intestine. These muscles and all we cannot control by ourselves. So these are involuntary and unstriated muscles. Okay, and cardiac muscle. This is about smooth muscle we have discussed till now. And then the third type of muscle is cardiac muscle, which is present, which is comprised in our heart. So this muscle is a contractile tissue only present in heart. Okay, it is a contractile tissue. The contractile, it can contract very much. If one cell contacts in the tissue, all the cells attached to those cells will get contracted. So it is
This also we cannot control it.
yeah, we cannot control, but it's involuntary, but it's striated. It is striated. Okay, so here it is striated voluntary, unstriated involuntary, striated involuntary. Okay, cardiac muscle is striated. It will have striations like this, and we cannot control those muscles. So in these muscles, the cell junctions, the cell junctions is between one cell and another cell. So these cell junctions, these cells will be fused through plasma membrane. Okay, and these plasma membrane holds all the cells together. And these have intercalated discs. Intercalated discs are nothing but the cells which are responsible for communication. Okay, these are known as intercalated discs. So it generally performs contraction. We have already seen that if one cell contracts in this cardiac muscle tissue, all the cells nearby it contracts.
So one expands, all the will expand.
Yes. So this is about skeletal, smooth and cardiac. So next we will see the structures of these three muscle tissues. So this is the structure of skeletal muscle, where these are the striations and this is the nucleus here. So these are striated and voluntary muscles. So smooth muscles have tapering ends. This is the nucleus here, and these are joined through junctions, gap, othering and tight junctions. So these muscles are involuntary and unstriated.
So they are joined through junctions. So here a junction is here a junction is there, here a junction is there.
Yes, some junctions we have already studied the tight, othering and gap junctions.
Here the junction is in between.
Yes, between the adjacent cells.
Okay. The nucleus is this thing. Okay.
So cardiac muscles are striated and involuntary. Smooth muscles are unstriated, so they do not have striations. And these smooth muscles are involuntary. Okay, so this is these are the structures. So now we have discussed about muscle tissue. So next we are going to discuss about neural tissue. Okay. So now we are going to the next subtopic under animal tissues after muscle tissue, which is the neural tissue. So here this neural tissue, it controls our body's responses in a greatest way. So it is so sensitive that if you keep your hand in the fire, you will get a stimulation. It is because of neurons. So these control most of the responses in our body, and in this neural tissue, neurons are the unit of neural system. Okay, neurons are a unit of neural system. So the neural system is composed of neurons and neuroglial cells. Okay, so these neurons are excitable cells. So these are excitable cells. And neuroglial cells are the rest of neural system other than neurons. Okay, so they comprise rest of the neural system. So these neuroglia are more than half of it. These neuroglia are present more than half of the volume of neural tissue. So more than half of the volume of neural tissue is composed by neuroglia cells other than neurons. Okay. So when a neuron is stimulated, an electrical disturbance, electrical disturbance travels along a neuron, and at the end of the neuron it releases some substances, and the next neuron catches the substances, and that disturbance, it carries through its neuron. Okay, so through its plasma. So this is how the electrical disturbance is passed in a fraction of seconds. It is passed through neurons to our brain. Okay, so this is about neural tissue. We will be studying in detail about this neural tissue in the chapter called Neural Control and Coordination. In that chapter we will be studying more about these neurons and how it conducts impulses from one neuron to other neuron, and what are the uses of these neurons, and how many neurons are present in our body, and how many types. We will be discussing them in that chapter. Okay, so this is generally about neural tissue. So next, with this animal tissue gets over. So next we are going to generally see about organ and organ system, and then we are going to see about earthworm, cockroach and frogs. So we will be discussing the morphology and anatomy in that.